Welcome to Rock Shop Talk. Our show talks best practices, fun anecdotes, and the latest cutting-edge technology in our field to kick your screen printing gears into hyperdrive. Today's episode continues our discussion on best screen printing shop operation practices. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be right back.
I want to welcome everybody back to Rock Shop Talk, your one-stop rock shop where we talk all things screen printing. Today we are discussing best screen printing shop operation practices, and we are joined by Bruce Ackerman of Printavo. I'm Ross Hunter, ROQUS president. Also joining us today is our creative director, Mr. Merrill Caps, and our automated solutions specialist, Ms. Tala Ramadan. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Fantastic. How are you?
What's up?
I'm great.
Look how fancy Bruce is showing up with this mic, like showing us up.
It is
I love
good.
it.
It's kind of in the way. I'm trying to make it look cool, but
I love it. It's
I
it
think
works
it
for
looks
me.
good.
Yeah.
I need a Printavo sticker right here too.
Oh yeah.
So sure.
Yeah. I know a guy. I'll put you in touch with my friend Bruce. He'll hook you up.
Yeah,
it's fun to have a podcaster on a podcast with us. We both have podcasts, and now we're podcasting together. It's kind of fun.
It's like podcast Inception style.
Yeah, flipped upside down.
Right.
Can we add some different languages in?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine with me.
Love it. So wanted to do a quick ROQUS news update. Just wanted to give another shout out to Tyler and Alexa at In-House Prints for rocking the video that we made together on ROQ registration.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to remind everyone to sign up to view that video and get their free Illustrator ROQ Reg template download. Still available on our website. If you scroll a little bit down the homepage. We also have Lotus is a featured product for this month. So our Reclaim machine, we've got a really cool ROI calculator for those of you that are listening that are still, grinding away at the manual process of cleaning screens. Go check it out. If you go to our website, it says cleaning screens suck. Click the button right below that phrase, and it will take you to a cool ROI calculator, some other information to kind of show you what automation in your screen department can do for you. So a lot of fun stuff happening right now.
Quick question on this note, with the cleaning screens suck note. So I'm on the fence on the grammar of how do you write that. Is it cleaning screens suck or is it cleaning screens sucks? Because as of now, I voted on the latter, but I'm not 100% sure on the situation. So what do we think?
I think it's both. Like if you're in the moment, right? Like you could use one, version of that. And if you're like thinking about it outside of the moment of actually doing the task, maybe you could say it another way.
Okay. So like if you're there, it's singular. But if it's like past or future, then you're like, that sucks.
Maybe
you can also say this sucks, right?
Yeah, you could.
This is a sucky
You could say this suck.
I think it's
a good point.
I think it's plural.
Plural.
I like feel having a linguist on our team. Like Merrill writes all these tongue twisters for me for the show. Like, welcome to Rock Shop Talk, your one-stop rock shop. Now that took me a really long time for those of you listening to really get that right and be able to flow with it.
But you do it so well now.
I just did it again. I guess so.
You did. And you did. We only did it once. That might have been like show history.
I don't know. Was it show history? It's probably close to show history.
I think
definitely scrambled that up. You guys should all try that tongue twister at home like 3 times fast.
What is it? Rock Shop, your one-stop rock
shop. So it's welcome to Rock Shop Talk, your one-stop rock shop. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try it.
Merrill.
Anyway, as you were.
Okay. Well, those are our big updates.
There we go. It is plural.
Cleaning the screen sucks. So yeah, check out the website. Got new stuff up there. Be sending out emails awesome. And thanks, man.
I'm actually
we're actually We're going to start to get that on all of our products. So we're going to have some ROI calculators going up on our different presses, our fold pack line, really trying to automate as much as we can on the website in terms of resources for other people. So obviously a process, but we're doing well. I mean, it's coming along.
Yeah, it is. It's just so fascinating. We were literally talking to somebody about just hiring an assistant because of the time spent that we do operational things every day. And like, when is the right time to bring on an assistant? And the whole consensus was, if you're already thinking about it, like, you're probably 6 months late because of, you know, like, any shop owner just fills their day with like, I just got to get this stuff done. I just got to I got to do these operational things. I got to get moved to the next thing. And then it's almost like I'm sure that's very similar on the automation of equipment side too, where you don't realize the cost there. Like, our time as a cost, or that employee's time as a cost. It's just kind of interesting to see it as dollars and cents.
But it's kind of funny you're talking about, like, you know, those business decisions of like, when is timing right? I was just in my Vistage meeting with the CEO group yesterday. And we had a guest speaker. It was amazing. And one of the things he talked about in business is the fork in the road decisions. So, you know, a lot of times we have these thoughts or these ideas, or, hey, we might need this or might need that. And a lot of people, you know, they vet it with their team first, right? So you go to your team, you say, hey, as a company, I'm thinking of going this direction. You're going to get different opinions. You're going to get half of the people that say, oh, that's awesome. You're going to get the other half of the people, maybe a little bit more conservative, that say, you know, let's pump the brakes, let's wait. And it was interesting. He said, you know, when you're presented with these fork in the road decisions, just do it. Just do it right then. Make the decision and go. You're never going to make everyone happy. If you've got a good team, they're going to get on board. But if you wait, you know, like you said, you're already 6 months too late, perhaps. And this goes for everything, right? Buying new equipment to automate, or adding a team member, you know, to a department that you need. And it's kind of that gut instinct of business, which a lot of people, you know, struggle with. But, you know, the whole thing is after the fact, right? You fail forward. So even if it's a bad decision, you learn from it, you know, you adjust and you move forward. But a lot of people hold on to these decisions for so long that they're losing money, they're losing opportunities, and they're not really weighing in that opportunity cost of not doing, you know, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish in their business. So
there's an interesting balance, because it's like, at first, I feel like for a while, there's definitely a cost of being indecisive, especially around hiring, because it takes so long to find good people. But I feel like there's a stage too where if I make decisions too quickly, I end up sometimes doing too much backtracking. And I found like this weird, like, just take 10 minutes, ask them, like, what were you thinking? What is your opinion here? And then make the decision. Instead of, you know, when it's a 2-person operation, 5-person operation, it's like, yeah, go. Yeah, go. You know, it's, you barely have to think about it.
I think that's really wise, taking a step back. At the same time, how do you specifically, Bruce, handle preventing and or dealing with the too many cooks in the kitchen syndrome?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we were never like flat organization, you know, proponents. It was always, hey, I think bigger companies have gotten bigger and have done that because of organization. So why am I going to try to fight it and try to make this newer discovery or something about management? And so I believe that was solved by having like the best top tier managers that I can trust with each aspect, which is probably the other huge piece, just like buying an amazing new press, is like investing in an amazing senior, you know, manager that's been around the block, that you can really have own production, or you can have own sales, or whatever aspect that you don't want to be a part of or shouldn't be a part of. But at least for us, I think that helps solve it, because then it's very easy to hierarchy. And I think that the team underneath respects that person, who has 5 years or whatever experience with operations or something to help guide them and lean on them. Because really people, I think for the most part, most people want a lot of structure. Sure, you want to be creative and give the flexibility, but for most people, you can't just say, hey, we're going to start doing cold calling. Can you start that process? Right? It's like they're probably going to flounder around, and your expectations of what's going to happen is totally different than what's really going to happen versus, here's the script. Here's who you're going to be calling every day. Here's the quota that I want you to reach out,
For sure.
And like breaking it down.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Good point.
Well, it's that strong leadership is key. It was actually part of our talk yesterday too, that, the business starts with leadership in the center. The leadership builds the culture tells the story talks about the brand. And then on top of all that, the strategy sits. But it's like, you have to have that full circle, and it all boils down to that leadership. So it's a, great point that you make about surrounding yourself, if you're hiring, surrounding yourself with good leaders. If you're a leader on your own, it's learning how to be a good leader, right? So it's immersing yourself in seminars and reading and constantly challenging yourself to make yourself a better person. Because I don't think, all leaders are different, right? You got very entrepreneurial people, you have people, you have data-driven people, and, to be a good leader, you've got to be able to learn all of those different things. And it's a struggle, it's a struggle, from an organizational standpoint. Like me specifically, operations is not my forte. But I'm having to learn it, and I've immersed myself in it, and, I'm reading, I'm doing more to try and figure it out, but it's not my go-to. Go-to is people, the entrepreneurial thought, that kind of pie in the sky sort of plays. So, we always have to be working on ourselves and really strengthening that core, because that core then goes out and influences literally everything about your business, all the way down to your brand, which I found really interesting. That it's like, starts here, goes to culture, goes to the story, and then that story is really talking about, your brand at the end of the day.
Totally.
It's really powerful stuff.
Before we get,
sorry.
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
No.
Well, I find it interesting because, like, I also try to relate that kind of stuff to like thinking back running a manual shop. I mean, you were running a shop too, and it's just like, how does this apply to me, when there's 3 people in the shop? And I think one thing I wish I would have sort of started to emulate earlier is like, okay, the person that has 30 people in their business, what are they doing? And then just start trying to do little things that are literally free. Like the training stuff, like literally writing everything down, which turns into, that's what SOPs are, right? But it's like writing everything for hiring. Okay, their first day, here's what they're supposed to be doing. Here's what we're doing, and over and over and over. Sales, here's the script, and here's how you price, and here, right? And like documented all that. And I think we finally did that at maybe 6, 7 people, but locking yourself in a room helps, because you can't afford like a good senior manager at that stage or anything like that. So at least that made it a lot easier.
That's a good point. It's good for people to visit other companies. You can learn a lot from it. I remember I took a trip to PayPal, and we were invited there, and it was awesome. We got a full tour of their campus. We got to listen to some of their senior level management talk about their company and their culture, and how they run things. And it's kind of fun to be able to look up to that, right? Because you got a multi-billion-dollar organization with a campus, right, where they're giving everyone, lunches all day. I mean, we've all heard and talked about Google. I'm sure a lot of people know. Like, I mean, it sounds like this crazy, awesome place to work. And as a smaller business, like, how do I take pieces of that, and trickle it down to myself? And to your point, without having some crazy cost, because it's not like we can all go out and hire a chef tomorrow to make lunch every day for folks, right? So
I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
I'm right on it, Merrill.
Okay.
You're in charge of craft services though for this show.
Yeah, not catering.
I had to get my own water, beverage. What happened there?
Call the union. That's all I have to say.
No, Ross is always really great about making sure that we have snacks on hand.
Where do you learn
try.
that from?
What kind of snacks are we talking though?
Like
We have Trader Joe's in here. We got cookies, we've got chips, we've got hummus, crackers, nuts,
healthy
fruit.
stuff, banana, apple I saw in there.
bananas.
Back in the day, he came back from a trip from CIT, and like first thing was we need a vending machine, like a good
Why?
one.
They had a really nice one.
Yeah.
Well, they actually have companies now that, and it's really cool for everyone listening. They are vending companies that'll come in and they'll actually build out a room, and they have fridges. So don't think vending machine that you slide $1 into, right? So it's actually a convenience store. So they'll come into your space, they'll put in the convenience store, and they bring in fresh sandwiches, salads, all the drinks, and you can hand pick, like, we don't want any sodas. We only want, healthy stuff. They bring in candies and chips and everything. You pay nothing.
Wow.
So they make their money from your team going in to this area and taking whatever they want. And the team checks out with their own credit card. So it's self-checkout, just like at a grocery store. So they walk in, self-checkout, scan their items, pay. And what's neat is they come every 2 weeks and they recycle, they take out what's going bad, they put in all new fresh stuff, and then they track what your team's eating most, and then they'll fill it up with like items. So it's like if, sandwiches are the big hit, well, yeah. And you can like spiff your people by loading money onto a card. So it's for them. And we actually had a program where we'd subsidize healthy choices. So it wouldn't be full price. So if you picked a salad, it would be, 25% off whatever the normal retail would have been on that to kind of promote, a healthy lifestyle. So there's a lot of cool stuff.
Super cool.
And that was free. Literally cost nothing. They put in their own security cameras. They monitor their own stuff. You do nothing. You just make a phone call. It's pretty neat.
It was really nice.
Before we dive any further, let's let Bruce introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about Printavo, the origin story, where you guys are at now and where you're going. I know that's a very loaded question, but let's give our listeners some background here.
Yeah, I started a small screen printing shop in Champaign, Illinois. So I went to the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. It's like Big Ten school, but kind of in the middle of nowhere. But was always into skateboarding and then designing clothes for it. And one of the skate shop owners actually had a Riley Hopkins, a 4x4. And so we bought it and put it in the back, and then just started printing a lot more for the university really quickly. And that's where we needed some sort of, just like any business, as you get started, there's processes just like non-existent. It's just everywhere. And I remember we had like QuickBooks, and we had PayPal, and we had this invoicing solution because QuickBooks wasn't online yet. We had Google Calendar, we had email. I mean, I'm sure you remember this from early shop days.
Oh, I remember it from my business. Absolutely.
There's just stuff everywhere. And as we started to bring on a couple people to help print, so then I could be out selling and doing art, we needed a solution that was really easy to use and it was cloud-based. And that just wasn't out there. I thought the main solutions that were out there were just so clunky and hard to use. So that's why I started building Printavo and working on it nights and weekends for about 6 years, just iterating, improving, adding this feature, that feature, demoing that customer, listening to them, and just keep growing. And then I want to say about 4 years ago, I went full time and started to grow the team from there. So we're 23. I would say half to 2/3 are in Chicago or Illinois-ish area, and then the rest are more remote around the U.S. And
wow,
yeah, we've just been pushing super hard. I think that we are we want to make it very easy for a shop to be able to help make forward progress, right, in their business, whether it's stores, whether it's production management, automation, just seeing how your shop's running from your phone. There's some really cool tech that that our space just has not been exposed to because we're kind of 5-ish, maybe 10 years behind of like, I mean, like at home, it's nuts, right? You can tell your thermostat to change the temperature and you can, you know, connect your fan to Alexa and you can do all this really cool stuff, but that's nowhere near close to what we have in the garment decoration space. And so that's what we're super passionate about, and are pushing really, really hard towards. And there's definitely competitors in the space, but I feel like we're really pushing the hardest to make this happen.
So for those listeners that don't know about your software, just from like a high level overview, what is it doing for them?
Yeah. So when you're starting the shop, right, you've got 1, 2, 3 people, and you really want to look more professional then. Like that is the time to look like you're a 10-person, 15-person shop so you can close deals easier, right? Don't make it harder on yourself because people are already a little squeamish. You know, a big high school or something wants to work with somebody more reputable or that will be around, they could build a relationship with. And so Printavo can, you know, manage the quote, get things approved, schedule. It's managing that order from start to finish, shipping it all out, all that stuff. We even added Printavo merch, which is the online stores aspect. So you can do teams and company stores and, you know, fundraisers, all that cool stuff in there. And then there's really cool notifications too. So at that size, like you could text a customer when the order is heading out to be shipped, right? So you look like an Amazon-esque type of experience. And then as the shop gets bigger, right, you've got 10 people that all touch an order from quote, art, pre-production, production, shipping, all that stuff. So it keeps everybody at that stage on the same page too. And then you can start to get reports out of it. You can download all your data. And it keeps everybody on the same page. And I think what's really exciting too is that like, we kind of jokingly say people will come off of Excel or paper or QuickBooks or a whiteboard and use Printavo, and that's kind of our main competitor, is just exposing you to a new workflow of how to do things. So it's pretty cool. We work with a few thousand shops around the world now. I would say, although 80-ish% are US based, but gosh, we had a shop that we set up in Nigeria and the Caribbean, a bunch of Canada, Mexico, Europe, some in Asia. So it's been a really, really cool journey though so far.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
That's awesome. So it's amazing. Shop management from sale, or actually even pre-sale all the way through fulfillment, essentially.
Totally. Yeah, managing full start to finish. And I mean, it's crazy because let's say you have 2 different shops, but they're both printing, you know, very simple black ink on a white tee. They could manage that whole order differently of how they want to do it, shop A versus shop B. And so the system has to be flexible enough, right, to let you do that. But we, of course, help guide people, you know, here's the best practices and so on. And we try to do a lot of educational content around that too. It shouldn't be as difficult as sometimes it is.
That's awesome. And I feel like you guys, I mean, I've known you for a long time. I've known your company for a long time. You've been to Portugal with us. I mean, it's sick. Neat to see, that you guys really found yourselves on, you know, similar principles to us, you know, ROQUS, about creating solutions. And I feel like, you know, I've seen your platform grow throughout the years, and it's all been based off of your consumers and what people need. So it's cool. I mean, for those of you out there that haven't experienced Bruce and his team in Printavo, you know, they're there to make it work for you. And that's what's really been cool. And it's neat seeing that whole evolution, you know, happen from where you started.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So what other, I mean, you talked, you know, you guys' main competition is really kind of people that are getting started in operation. So your competition is the whiteboard, it's Excel or cloud-based QuickBooks. Are there any other things within our field that are kind of main players just in the operational space? Any other
Oh,
programs out there?
totally. I mean, you've got like Deco Network, Inksoft, Shopworks, Fast Manager, TSUM, PrintLife. There's probably 10 different tools or solutions, right, that you can pick to help. I mean, you could piece together QuickBooks and like Google Sheets. And so we'll see that too up until a stage, right? Because it works to like piece multiple things, but you try to bring things together as you can afford it. But yeah, there's a significant amount of players there.
So where do you guys set yourself apart kind of in that pool of players?
Well, so we actually have this new pricing plan coming out that's going to be $49 a month. That's actually specifically for like the 1-person shop just getting started. Because what we discovered is like the shop that used to pay $100, $200, that was that getting started shop, going from a garage and just that they're either part-time or they're in this like phase where they're going full-time. They can, when they use Printavo, they're like, holy crap, this makes me look so much more professional. I'm not wasting time forgetting about orders. I've missed a due date, blah, blah, blah. So that $49 plan will make it a lot more accessible. And then as you grow, I mean, there's some shops that have, 8, 10 presses that will continue to use Printavo to help, and scale that life cycle. I'm sure so many shops have used Shopify, but I think that's a really good example, right? Of like, you can get started on Shopify literally selling masks, for example, right? And then you continue to grow your business and they, help companies like Allbirds and,
They grow with you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I like to think about it for us, is we can help at the different stages of the business. And it's sort of like that, where you're never too early to do some of these more professional things and make some of these investments. I'm sure you guys see this with the equipment side too. It's like, it's for sure a scary step. And I'm sure now going back, you would have done it earlier. But, by following the pack and just listening to some others, I think people are able to probably shave off months, if not years of time and pain by like, looking more professional or going to trade shows. I feel like I didn't even know about trade shows for the first 3 years, being in the space.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting too, you talk about, people wanting to go automated or, invest in any kind of capital equipment for their business. You'll get there a lot quicker the faster you automate your operations and streamline your workflow. So nice plug for you, Bruce, because I mean, it's true. These shops that haven't considered, automation yet, or maybe they just got started and they're, in their first automatic, but they haven't gone to automate their screen room or their packaging, their folding, all these other stuff, because they're still working across 8 different platforms, doing things kind of in not such an organized way. I mean, to me, automating your operations comes before you make those other investments. I mean, it's, it really does, because once you invest in your operations and what you're doing, that organization is going to drive more business. You're going to look more professional. I mean, all the things that you kind of described, and then you're going to have the revenues that make automating, some other part of your business seem like a no-brainer compared to that risk that you're talking about. So, I mean, when you're talking about a $49 investment for someone to get started, that $49 investment is going to yield a large return, making you growing your business in other ways, I think, a lot easier. And I think it's something people forget. I mean, hell, I didn't know it, right? I mean, that's why we like doing these podcasts. When I started my business, I was using Microsoft Word. I wasn't even using Excel, right? We were in Word. I was making invoices
like every time.
I was making invoices in Word. Everything was paper-based. We printed everything, and it took me years, right, to kind of, and there wasn't cloud-based software at that time either. So, that was all kind of new. but yeah, there wasn't a tool that was $49 a month that did it all. I mean, that just didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you giving folks that accessibility is absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Good for you, man.
Thank you. I'm kind of curious. Do you guys see shops going from manual to auto or straight to auto more now, or?
It's picking back up. I mean, COVID definitely hurt that market segment. You know, pretty much through last year, we saw a pickup in Q4. So we're seeing a little bit more of that happen. We're seeing a lot though of folks that maybe had older automated equipment that are looking to upgrade. That's happening a lot now. And then a lot of your bigger operations are, you know, investing. But it is starting to pick up. I mean, for sure. So I think we're going to get back in the swing of that. And obviously that was a huge part of our business pre-COVID. And so we had to kind of pivot. It was a great pivot, very excited about it. And that other piece of the business is still there. I think we're just, you know, waiting on some of those folks to, you know, feel comfortable in kind of this new norm that we're living in now and get ready to make investments. For
sure. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will get more into operations and talking with Bruce at Printavo. We'll be right back.
With the Lotus Holland Auto Screen Reclaim System, your screens are completely and reliably cleaned for reuse again and again. To find out more ways this Product of the Year award winner can help you reclaim far more than your used screens, please visit ROQ.us or call 187-ROCKET now. That's 877-674-8669.
I want to welcome everybody back to Rock Shop Talk, your one-stop rock shop where we talk all things screen printing. Today, we are discussing best screen printing shop operation practices with Bruce of Printavo. I'm ROQUS President Ross Hunter. Also alongside of us today is our creative producer, Mr. Merrill Caps.
Hello.
And our automated solutions specialist, Ms. Tala Ramadan. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome. And welcome officially. First podcast ever appearance from both Bruce and Tala. This is a very special occasion. We were there.
It is.
We were there, Ross. And you were there.
Well, and a big
listening.
shout out. Tala just joined our team actually too, like 3 weeks ago. So those of you calling in and interested in stuff, you'll definitely be talking to Tala. She is an amazing human, knows her stuff. I'm really excited to have her on the team. So
very
welcome
much so.
Officially on the air to ROQUS.
Well, I did accidentally walk in your office when you were recording last week, so there was like a sliver of me.
No, we're gonna have the hidden Tala.
That was your true
every
intro.
episode from now on. You're just gonna have to bust in the door, and then watchers are gonna have to come in and find out where you're at.
Oh, that's fun.
Ross, where's the office again?
We have offices in Vancouver, and then we've got our main location in Florida. We've got about a 20,000 square foot facility there.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
that's in Orlando, which I can't wait to open. Here's what's funny. I got the facility sight unseen. And I've still sight unseen it. I have never been there. I've never set foot in it. And it's fully operational. And we've got a team there. We've got offices. We've got a conference room. They've decked it out with furniture. We've got a showroom. So I can't wait to get to Florida and do like a ribbon cutting and like have a big barbecue and invite everyone out to Florida. Hopefully you'll come. You'll definitely get an invite on that one.
But I want to go. I want to record it. I think that'd be really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm ready to throw a huge event. It's been since January of 2020 since I've gotten the opportunity to throw a huge event, and that's like such a big part of what makes me happy. So I can't wait. I just traveling right now is still tough, for a lot of folks, including myself. So just trying to weather through the last bit of hopefully the storm and these vaccines get out more and everyone gets more comfortable, then we'll plan a big I'm hoping by summer, Florida, have like a golf tournament, right? Plus like a big grand opening. So we do like a big golf tournament, big grand opening. I mean, I want to go big, like music,
Yeah.
whole thing.
Mini golf too for me.
Mm.
We could do that. Might be kind of fun. I wonder if someone can bring in mini golf. So we do it at the facility in the parking lot. That'd be kind of cool.
Like
Yeah.
outside. Actually, it would be kind of neat.
Are we still gonna install the putt thing on the roof of the bus?
Oh, 100%. We bought
Okay.
that, didn't we?
Oh yeah. So wait, I need a bus update because I see the photos.
We actually have one.
and
Okay.
I'm still waiting
right
on my
now.
pickup.
I have an update for everyone, a true bus update. So we finally have the bus in our possession.
Like with keys,
Yay.
and it turns on.
It took a year.
Yeah.
It turns on, it goes. They finally finished fixing our awnings and some other things that were wrong on it. I will be in the bus next Tuesday with Merrill. We're going to work out of it because we've got some painting to do and some TVs to hang and towels to put away. And we bought a bunch of new cool stuff. Everything's black and green, so it's total rocked out on the inside. We are doing a team snowboarding trip on the 19th. So the bus will make a maiden voyage up to Mount Hood. And
I love Mount Hood.
Yeah, there's a bunch of us going up to go skiing and snowboarding. It'll
when is
be
that?
like an inaugural. Yeah, it's next Friday. You want to come?
That is really soon. But I am a sucker for snowboarding. So
all right, let me know offline. Let me know if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're planning a video shoot tour of about half of the United States. So we've got a video crew coming in. They're going to take the bus. And we are going to go to how many different businesses?
I'm not sure what
I'm
not sure what the running total is, but it's around there. Yeah,
it's about 12 or 13 different shops. Video crew is going to come in. So we're starting it with video shoots. So essentially, the tour bus is going to cruise around. We're going to send film crews in to different people's businesses. We're going to get a bunch of content, a bunch of stills, a bunch of great videos with our partners. And that's going to kind of be its maiden voyage. We're going to start in Chicago, go down to Florida, through Texas to Denver, up to Montana, and then back over. It's going to be about an 9 week stint that it'll be out. So that's going to be the first thing. So everyone keep their fingers crossed that we don't lose a transmission, that the engine doesn't blow up, because you're gonna get a lot of miles on that thing. We're talking, that's probably a 4,800 mile trip, I think, that we've got planned.
Yeah, at least. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So yeah,
I always had
the gas stations will love us.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what, man? When we get closer to doing when we get close, actually, over the West Coast, let's see how things are. Maybe you can meet up with us in Denver or one of those places
wherever.
and head up
I can meet you guys.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Fine. Sweet.
Just give me the live tracker.
Right.
Well, I'll be home, right? I'm not doing this, right?
You don't have to.
Okay.
I'll probably come in like on the last leg, but way after vaccination, because yeah. Well, question for you, sir, Bruce. I would like to dive into your expertise into the data behind our industry. Obviously, that's a major part of your software, being able to track certain things. So can you share with us some of your latest trends that you see noticing, and also, or happening rather? And then also, could you give us your top 3 analytics to track to keep the shop going in the right direction for the next level?
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty good question. So we in Printavo, we've processed just about $2.5 billion of payments through like existence, which is really cool. Wow. Just in that,
that's billion with a B.
Yeah, that's like a lot.
Billion.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of payments that are either being processed through Printavo or recorded in Printavo, and they're doing somewhere else or whatever, and that continues to grow, which is really cool, especially with the stores with merch on there now. I think the data is super interesting, especially with orders created. So I track that a lot. Now, this an order for us that we're saying could be a quote, could be an invoice, but we tend to track it to see how, just like economically, how shops have been going so far. And actually, for people who are going to watch this after, I can just share my screen so you can see this real quick. So this is for like the last 2 years of data. Now, what's tricky though here is that we're adding more shops every month to the platform, right? So that's going to inflate numbers on the tail end of it all. But obviously, COVID, you can kind of see where things really fell off very quickly around end of March, very similarly to the downturns that you have around Christmas time, Christmas to New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But definitely took some time for it to climb back out. I think what's fascinating that we found though is a lot more of shops under, I would say roughly 5 to 10 people at the shop have really probably been impacted more than bigger shops on average. Now, of course, you've got some bigger shops that maybe they just did all cruise lines or something like that and were completely wiped out. But from the lack of schools and group activities, which was a huge economic driver for them, that has still been a struggling area. Now, I think larger shops have quickly pivoted into doing a lot more e-commerce-based fulfillment. So running online stores and just taking more of that on, and like thinking about t-shirts more as a bridge, right? Like, yeah, I don't need t-shirts, but hey, can I help you, marathon, run a remote marathon, and we'll handle all of the merchants sending it out. And so you guys can make money, right? It's you're selling sort of the same thing, but the pitch is completely different. And I think a lot of the mid to larger size shops really adjusted to that quickly. And now some of the smaller shops are picking up on it and are running on that too. But this is pretty fascinating just as it's still fairly shaky. Like there are definitely, you've got Thanksgiving and just more normal peaks and valleys, but I think normal sales cycles have shifted in that, yes, normally January was dead, but January seemed to be extra dead for people. But maybe November, December tend to be pretty good for sales. And for quite a few shops, we saw that they'd be extra good for shops, especially as people bought more stuff online. So it's like the extremes are all over the place. People can't count on the usual sales cycles. But I was chatting with a shop over in Texas yesterday, and the ones that I think are really pulling out, though, are the ones who are using this as their opportunity to say, either this is the workflow that we need, or these are the people, or these are the services we need to offer, or this is how we're going to be doing marketing, or, hey, I've never done outreach before. I've just let people refer customers, and now I'm flipping that on its head. Right. I mean, those aren't things that aren't going to like just go away when we can have a concert or something again.
Right.
Those are things that you just add to your book of tricks, essentially, to be able to grow more and create a really good, stable business. So, yeah, I think it's exciting, but smaller shops are definitely feeling a wavy, economy right now. I'm sure you guys probably see something.
January nationally across almost all industries saw a pretty big plummet. I mean, I've read about it in the news in a couple different places. I mean, I think that, right after the election, you got a lot of people waiting to kind of just see what's going to happen. There's tension there. And I think that, in our industry specifically, January is never great. It's always kind of, actually, I mean, I used to shut my business down. So we would close from basically the 25th of December until about the second week of January, because there just wasn't anything. And that's when everyone took a break, and then we kind of pick back up that second week of January. February would stay a little slow, and March is really where everything tends to just sort of really pick up. Typically speaking, at least on our cycle. But it was interesting to see just kind of nationally sort of that downturn in January. It should make everyone feel a little bit more at ease, because it wasn't, I don't feel like it was one industry specifically.
What do you suggest that people track bare bones? Like if you're not tracking or monitoring anything else analytic wise, what metrics do you recommend people absolutely should if they want to grow?
I personally think like the first step right out of the gate is just very simple sales numbers and receivables numbers. It's kind of shocking sometimes how many invoices are just left outstanding for such a long time. We've been really pushing shops just request 100% down payment on every order. Mm-hmm. Of course, if there's schools or something special, but really push yourself to, that's a very, very minimal amount of business that you're leaving outstanding, and everything else, you're just trying to get your receivables down. And that may even mean hiring like a VA to just follow up on receivables twice a week, right? To just get them paid and get that number down. I think another one is understanding where the sales are by type of work. So if you're doing screen printing, embroidery, if you're doing car wraps, whatever it is, to start understanding what do the sales numbers look like for those areas. You could get into industry related, but I think those basic 2 to 3 are really huge just to help give some clarity into cash flow. Cash flow is such a big problem with shops, especially as they grow.
Right. And the flip side of that question is, are there any hidden metrics that you would recommend larger businesses to begin to track that they may or may not be right now?
Mm-hmm. This is something we're going to be working really heavily this year, and have already started on, like just general production efficiency. So I think there's a lot of hidden costs of time doing certain things, time to run certain orders, and what the actual profit that you made on a job is. Some shops will manually try to do this via like sheets of writing start and stop times on a job, which can get you, sort of the way there. And we're building some really cool stuff to allow to be able to help that. So like, on a ROQ, you could have a tablet that helps prompt the start stop and be able to understand the uptime and downtime to be able to pull that off. Again, today wise though, I see shops will record that on a piece of paper, and then they scan it, and like you could have a VA copy that data into an Excel sheet, and then you can run your analysis there to give you maybe 60-70% of the way. And that's really cool. I'm really excited for us to be able to get there and make it so much easier to be able to do.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for that.
We'll be right back to talk more about operations in your screen printing shop with Bruce from Printavo. We'll be back in a minute.
Fast track your setups to fast track your profits with a ROQ, the fastest and most accurate registration system in the screen printing industry. For your free step-by-step video and a free registration template download, please visit ROQ.us or call 187-ROCKET now. That's 877-674-8669.
I want to welcome everybody back to ROQ Shop Talk, your one-stop ROQ shop where we talk all things screen printing. Today we are discussing best screen printing shop operation practices and are joined by Bruce of Printavo. I'm ROQ US President Ross Hunter. We also have our creative director, Mr. Merrill Capps, joining us, and our automated solutions specialist with shaky internet today, Tala Ramadan. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome.
And that was a total joke because Tala keeps randomly dropping off of the podcast because she's too far away from her router. But prefers this view of where she's at in her home better. So kick us off, Tala.
Yeah. So Bruce, so outside of software, what would you recommend to be like the top five best practices for screen printers?
That's a good one. All right, we got 5. All right, so first one, I think outside of software, we talked a little bit about this at the beginning, but just try to document everything. Like literally, we have folders and we broke those folders into departments, and in each folder would be like sales. And in that folder, we'll have the sales scripts that we want people to say when they're reaching out, and how that whole process works of going through like a new order, for example. We went as deep as like trying to make it so that that person didn't have to think very much just to get started. So there's videos explaining the tools they use, there's what they say and all that stuff, objections, all that good stuff, and how to talk about it. And it wasn't like this was created overnight, but like we started off with the new hire guide, which was like a doc that said day 1 you get started, first 15 minutes we're going to do a shop tour, next 45 minutes we're going to talk about our culture and who we are as a business and what's important to us next, and so on, and then we're going to talk about all the tools we have in our shop and the people, and then we're going to get lunch, and it's very, very regimented. So that's that. I cannot say enough, that is so important, not just for hiring new people, but just like if somebody needs to be replaced or whatever happens, it makes your life so much easier. And by the way, I made that thinking that I didn't want to be present when they got started. So I will be, of course, I think that's important, but if they just watch all this stuff and read this stuff, then they'd be ready to go.
Smart.
I think the next step is it's interesting hearing shops when they go back, and I always love asking, like, what would you have done earlier? And almost everybody says, I would have tried to go auto quicker, like with an automatic press, and I would have got a direct to screen quicker. So, I mean, just listening from them, people think that that's such a huge investment just on time savings and accuracy and speed and I mean, physical, like not leaning over the press, pulling a squeegee for hours and hours and hours. So I think that's really cool. I think the other thing that we've heard a ton is just general online stores. Whatever platform you're using, run online stores and do that for your customers. I mean, e-commerce has grown so much, and to offer like shops, I think that do this well, think about themselves as a fulfillment partner, less as a print shop. And so if you go into that conversation, it's like, okay, hey, barbershop, like I know you've got a brand that you're building. How about we can help you be able to grow that brand with merch? And so the videos that you release will manage and inventory and ship, or we'll help you design and print and ship. And so how do you get more vertically integrated so you can really start taking a bigger chunk, making more? And then that's just what customers want now too. They don't want to be able to handle that. The school organizers don't want to handle it. The coaches don't want to handle it. So you can take that on and charge more for it. The other thing that I think that people find just general well-being of a business owner is just getting really good at delegation too. I think we're all the types that say, I'm just going to do it. Like I'll do it. Like, oh, here, just give it to me. Right. And that works for, the first couple people, but it actually becomes very detrimental to what the potential growth is of the shop or of any business when you get to 5-8 people or so. And so that's at that point where it's, okay, being good at delegating is almost a skill that we have to just like learn. And it's the hardest, weirdest, most awkward thing, just to be like, not trying to micromanage or just letting them take it, or spending enough time so they know how to make the right decision, or, investing in a person that can completely own it for you, all that. So,
right.
We see that a lot. And then we also see, this is more of a smaller thing, but like, whatever, again, you're using, we see a lot of people drop quotes on the floor like crazy. So they don't convert enough quotes to invoices because somebody asked for something and then that's it. And then you move on. And so just by following up on sales and, being very timely with it and picking up the phone is crazy, just about picking up an extra. I mean, imagine you close an extra 5 orders a month, right? Like 1-ish a week. And what that can do to your bottom line at the end of the year, just from basic following up and tracking that stuff. So
it's a really good point.
I think that was 5.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I would add one. Can I add one?
Yeah, we could do
Approved.
6.
That's one. Only one.
Build a culture. Understand who you are in your business, what your business is there to do. Create a mission, create a vision, create values, and real ones. Not, I'm going to be the best at screen printing in the world, and our company is going to deliver the best printed shirts at, the least expensive prices. Like, that's the worst vision that could ever be created. Like, have purpose. And I think when you do, it's a lot easier to go in, even if you're a 1 or 2 person operation, actually grow it. It's a lot harder to create that stuff after you have 3 or 4 or 10 team members working for you. So go in and do those things. And I think it's tough as a new business owner sometimes to think about all that because you're worried about making money right out of the gate. But if you do that stuff right in the beginning, your operations will flow better. The people you do hire will be happier. They'll do their jobs better. It's easier to delegate. I mean, all the things that Bruce just mentioned become simpler because you did that legwork on the actual company and where you want it to go ahead of time. So
Totally.
big thing that I've been consulting for years, and I see that a lot of people miss, and, they get in, they're just worried about, the art or the making the money part or, whatever it may be, and kind of leave out the, hey, this is a living, breathing thing and it needs to be able to be understood.
Would you say it's
8.
go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. 8 is, I think, to go after that too, is it's okay to treat people really well. Like, it's okay to like get everybody. We sent a bunch of DoorDash, gift cards to everybody to grab lunch, and it was like almost $1,000. But like, I think it's okay to be nice to people or to say, yeah, thanks. That you killed it. That doesn't make you look any less of a manager or boss or whatever. Sorry, Merrill.
I think the opposite is true. And it goes along with that idea. So would you say, Ross, that the paradigm shift happens when it no longer just is about you, when it's about us, when it's about customers, when it's about the quality of the work? It feels like to me that might be a bigger influence
100%.
in
It's
capturing that.
Yeah. I mean, this would be hard to explain very quickly, but it's building all that the right way is the things that you walk past. You don't notice it. It exists inherently within yourself, within the business, and within the people that work for it. It's part of the fabric. So I don't know if that answers your question, but if you do it right, it's almost inherent, right? It's not something that has to be worked on or thought about or preached, or it just is. It is. I mean, that's what culture is. I don't think Google, you don't go there and they've got their values written up on the wall. I don't think they need to. I don't think that they have their mission, their vision written on the wall. They've done such a good job developing it that it's passive. And that's what good culture is. It's a part of everyone's, that's theirs fabric. And so I think that once you get that, getting everything else that you want as a business, to be productive, to make money, to be happy. I mean, whatever it is that you're in business, why you're in business, what you're doing, starts there. And it all becomes much easier once that stuff's defined.
Yeah, this has been a really great conversation. I would say probably, what I gather kind of in summary is, like, in a large part, whether it's software or automation, it all comes down to everybody has their main strengths. There's the creative ones, there's the people, there's the analytical, people. And basically, with like Printavo, I love the fact that that's offering, more of an organized solution for shops that don't have that as a main strength and don't know where to start and what to do with that. An automated press, serves, obviously high volume, but like also what if you don't have a ton of volume, but you're really great with design and selling and you don't want to spend 8 hours printing a few hundred shirts. You want to, be able to do that quickly and then move on and focus on your strengths. So yeah, that's kind of what I gather is the main key point is just kind of focusing on our strengths and leaning on software and automation to kind of help ease those pain points a little bit.
For sure. I have a random question, and it really is random, but it's specifically about Printavo. Pardon my ignorance with the software. I've never used it myself. However, my question is there any space in the software for people who are in the business of printing on demand?
A little bit. It wasn't fully designed originally for that. The foundation is there, and we do have a couple shops that do that.
That's cool.
But I think the one thing that, because it's funny you bring this up, we've been having some pretty deep discussions around that, and we've actually went to go visit a shop up on the Wisconsin border that's got a ton of brothers set up there, and so it's close. It's close, but it requires a lot. And one thing, I think Ross talked about this is like, what's the niche? We've really, really focused on kind of apparel first in a screen printing way. And then we're definitely going to add on the print on demand when we get there. But
nice.
With a limited team, just resources, what can we be really good at? I think we'd half-ass both if we went too early into that side. But we are absolutely going to. It's just, let's really nail this one down, really build out the workflow and set it up, and then be able to move over. I mean, we're trying to double the engineering team from 7 to 15 this year. And so part of that, it will to help, for the foundation here.
Awesome.
That's awesome. How can people, I'm sorry, do you have a question, Tala? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I was going to ask. I was going to ask Bruce, if our audience wants to follow you, how can we do that? Social media?
Yeah. Just at Printavo on everything, pretty active on Instagram, YouTube, it's just search for Printavo, it'll come up. Obviously you can always sign up for a free trial at printavo.com. Our team will reach out right away. I was just starting to ramble actually after your what are some quick things to give, and there's a couple more that I was trying to write down, but like one thing is so many smaller shops I realize will, and even kind of medium-sized shops will really not do the requesting 100% payment, and so just nailing that. Pricing is such a crazy thing. Like people keep prices forever the same and are afraid to raise it. And I think we all kind of are like afraid to touch pricing. You're a little bit scared of, what will the customer say? But there's regular increase in pricing in everywhere. In almost every utility that you purchase, and you go to the grocery store, it's the same thing, right? So it's not foreign to people. And I think more having confidence around it. And plus your costs are just going to increase as the business grows. So that's the other thing. Anyway, yes. Good
advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Really great advice. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked out our ROQ registration system, we do still have a video on that. It's a really nice video, like half an hour long, very well done. But yeah, check it out.
Thank you, in-house.
Yeah, definitely. But check it out. It's definitely a great new system that, helps you register a lot faster, and it's a cool new tool. And then again, too, you guys lean on Printavo for, helping you manage your workflow systems and all of that stuff. And this has been a great chat, you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, both of you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and one quick misnomer too, because I do get this question all the time, so I got to throw this in there at the end. For those of you that have seen Printavo on a ROQ press on an iPad, the thing that holds it on the press, you can get on Amazon for like $20. So just look up a magnetic iPad holder, and you will find it. Because I can't tell you, Bruce, how many times we've gotten that question. Like, do you guys sell the cool thing that holds the iPad to the ROQ? And it's like, I'm thinking we should just manufacture these eventually.
Yeah. There needs to be, honestly, there should be a better one, because a lot of them are really flimsy or like, you have to be kind of careful with it. But you think definitely having one, but one that you can twist and take off really easily, because you have to charge them at the end of the day, right? Unless there was USB that you can plug into and you just charge the iPad right there.
We do have USB ports on our press. I wonder if they charge. That would be a very interesting thing for me to figure out. So you just gave me some homework. Awesome. Well, Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today. Tala and Merrill, as always, thank you both for joining us. For everyone listening, thank you for joining us. Very excited being in our second year. Join us in the next 2 weeks for another episode, and continue to press onward and rock on.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Big thanks to Bruce Ackerman of Printavo for joining us today. As always, thank you for spending time with us this week. Tune in at your convenience wherever you listen to your podcast by searching ROQ Shop Talk. Our next episode will feature automating screen reclamation. If you'd like to request to be on the show, please visit roq.us/ROQ Shop Talk. If you found today's episode helpful, please recommend it to a friend who you think may find it helpful as well. Please like, share, and subscribe on social media. Until next time, rockers, press onward.